What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the farm. We are just getting going on boil number 5, I think this is. Maybe it's boil number 6. I don't know. Hard to keep track at this point. The sap started running real hot and heavy this week. Today's Wednesday. Monday, collected over 100 gallons. First time I've ever collected over 100 gallons on 51 taps. So it was an absolutely enormous day Monday. And then Tuesday, I think I collected like another 35. And both of those days, it was super warm out. Not as warm again. Today's Thursday, not Wednesday. So Wednesday was super warm again. We had 3 really warm days in a row. Yesterday, went around to collect everything, and not everything, but a lot of buckets were starting to, some were showing a little bit of mold, some were showing cloudy sap, and some weren't smelling that great. So thinking that our season is just about to wrap up here in Southwest Ohio, because even though we are a little colder today, we kind of just hovered in the 30s and 40s. We didn't see below freezing again, and we're not going to see below freezing again looking at the long-range forecast until almost a week from now. So checked a few buckets today with some really good producing trees up near the house when I got home from work, and they were basically dry. So got this boil going today. I've got all of that sap from the last 2 days to try to get through today, or at least the bulk of it. We did boil some on Tuesday, bottled some of that big run from Monday, but got the rest of it run through the RO, and we're going to try to get through as much of it as we can tonight. Don't know if it'll quite be all of it, but hopefully going to be able to do a few draw-offs and get some stuff bottled this evening, and worst case scenario, we'll wrap this up tomorrow night. That was a really long take, y'all. Well, we're up and ripping real hot. Probably not too far off from doing our first draw off, about 217 degrees here about 5 minutes ago. So we're creeping up there. Got the pre-warmer going like always. Got my loyal steed back here with me. Risky! Hey, buddy! Hey, buddies! Smile for the camera. He's getting there, but while the garage door's open, can't quite yet trust him to be off leash, but here hopefully soon. He's getting a little better every day. We're not getting too far away from a draw off here. I think it's always interesting. You know, you can tell just whoa! Got the steam on there. You can tell it's just like starkly different, you know, boil qualities in each of the 3, you know, channels of the pan. But we're getting close over here, so we'll be doing a draw off here soon into the vacuum filter. Since it is that later season syrup, there is much more sugar sand and stuff. So I'm going to try to do everything I can, make sure every bit of this is hot. I warmed this up already with some water in it, took the water back out, so that's warm. The little holding tank thing on the top is warm. Going to use some cone filters to pre-filter it. So I got those. Got the pre-filters hanging up in here. Got the wool filters hanging up in here, making sure everything's damp and warm so it's not cooling that sap down as it comes into the vacuum filter, because say with that late season stuff, there's so much junk in it, it's already hard to filter. So just trying to do every favor that I can. Gonna try to do it in small batches, not gonna try to do this all at once. Probably that really would clog the filter, it would never all get through. So I'm going to do a draw off here in a few minutes. We'll get that on camera. Just trying to do ourselves some favors, keeping everything warm and wet. Hopefully you can see here, using our refractometer. There you go. We're right at about 64 bricks, so we're almost there. Ready to start the draw off here. Last night, in about 4.5, maybe a little bit under 5 hours, we got 2 cases, well, almost 2 entire cases, a case and then 8 bottles, the 12-ounce bottles, all processed. And then we also have these little bottles that we did this year, like a little like sampler size bottle. Did a whole nother case of these, so that would have been 24 more of those. So got that done in 3 draw-offs last night. Just got home from work. Got this up and running already this afternoon, and we're going to try to get through the last of I don't know, maybe it's about 25 or 30 gallons of concentrated RO sap that's in the cooler. Going to try to get that onto the tray and get that all run through tonight. I have mentioned a few times now that I would spend some time to talk a little bit more about the CDL vacuum filter. So through a little bit of trial and error, we have kind of figured out a few little tricks with it. Last night was the first time that I was taking the time to make sure that every component of it was warm, was making sure that the large, the actual pot was making sure that that was warm, making sure the filters were all warm. I had been doing that, but I hadn't been thinking about making sure that all of that stainless steel, that's a lot of cool mass that is going to rob heat from the syrup when it goes into it. So I was warming that up as well, and that seemed to make quite a big difference. We were having an issue with getting our syrup through the filter. We would get several quarts through it before it was starting to clog up. So we actually called the 1-800 number for Roth Sugar Bush. Actually, I don't know if it's a 1-800 number. We called the technical support line at Roth Sugar Bush, which is who we bought that through, and we actually got somebody to return our call, and they were telling us that this is a particularly bad niter year across the country. So niter and sugar sand is really high this year. That's not just an Ohio thing. He said they've been getting reports from the places that are sugaring already. We're up and going, Ohio, Indiana, a little bit further on the southern end of things, that the reports were that sugar sand was really high this year. So it wasn't something that we were doing incorrectly. It just was the filters can only handle what the filters can handle, and you need to do it. He told us basically what we needed to do was do smaller draw-offs and not try to do the large batches like we were. So that's what we did last night. We made sure we were doing much smaller draw-offs, and we didn't have any problems with our filters clogging. In the wool filters and then using a little bit of the diatomaceous earth, I have both used it straight into the pan and in a slurry on top of the filter. Don't know that I noticed a difference. All of it came out great quality. A very clean, very polished looking syrup. Was real happy with all of that. I would say the only thing, and this is all just like anecdotal evidence, don't know of any of this to be, actually true. This, sample size isn't that big yet. But the times when I was doing it straight onto the tray were the times when I was having more clogging issues. But those were also the times I was trying to do bigger batches, and that's why I thought maybe if I put it straight into the tray, knowing that there was a lot to come out, I could just mix it in there instead of doing the slurry on top of the filter. So yeah, don't really have a definitive answer at that point, at least with what I've tried. Probably a little bit of reading and research would maybe yield some results there, but the reading and research that I did do basically said that either way works. All of that to say, besides the RO, this is the best investment that we have made in our sugaring. I mean, especially the early season stuff, and literally in 30 to 45 seconds, we were getting entire gallons, a gallon and a quarter processed, completely filtered into the hopper, being able to bottle. It has the spigot straight on the bottom with the valve, being able to bottle straight from there and monitor with a thermometer on it, making sure that we're staying up at that 180 degree mark, so we're sanitizing those bottles right when we go in them. Man, hard to believe. It's over. That was the last bit of bottling to do. What did we just get there? Probably another, I don't know, I'll have to go back and count. I'll tell you right here. Another however many bottles that was, 12 or 15 maybe. Right now, just running some water through the pans. Gonna scrub everything out, try to get as much sugar off of it as possible. But all that's really left to do is the great cleanup and get everything put away, sanitized, and put away for next year. So I will do another video kind of as like more of a wrap up, kind of talk about some numbers. I usually do that every year, talk about, total sap collection, total syrup, like physical syrup actually made at the end of the year. But man, hard to believe that it's over already. It's been a hot and heavy 4 weeks, lots of hard work, but man, I love sugar season. This is always my favorite time of year. So gonna work on getting this cleaned up here. We'll catch you guys here in a little bit. Thanks for joining us for another sugar season, guys. It was an absolute blast. See, I got a few of them back here getting ready. Those are ready for pickups this week for a few people. It was a blast as always. Really appreciate the people who have been with us for a while. This isn't your first sugar season with us, but we also appreciate the new people who showed up this year. Still just blows my mind the support that we get on the channel. Can't believe that there's a few hundred people that actually take the time to watch and follow along with what we have going on here at the farm. So just heartfelt thanks to all of you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed following along this sugar season with all of our syrup vlogs. If you did, especially if you enjoyed this one, think about hitting that thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And until next time, y'all, we will see you.